going on, fighters? Welcome back to another episode of TNF. We are K9 Calamity. I'm Shamaro.
Wolfpack reporting for duty.
Nashville, ready in action.
And we're just going to jump right into this. We have a lot to talk about today, especially because Capcom Cup X just ended. Me and Wolf, we were up late last night watching that live, and we just got up on the Final Four today at the time of recording. But yeah, let's get right into the meat of this, because we saw the top 16, and oh my gosh, Wolf, it was just an amazing, just I like there's no word, like the level of play that there was in this tournament was just absolutely nuts. I mean, yeah, like I get that it was probably mostly because of the cash prize of $1 million for the winner, and then another $1 million for like the runner-ups, split unevenly. And of course, there was the prestige of getting that first win as the SF6 champion. But still, the level of play here was amazing. We had I think I counted at least 5 or 6 PKOs. And for those of you not familiar with the jargon, that's perfect KO. Just in the top 16. It was just nuts.
It was insane, and you know what? I mean, could you expect anything else? This is the biggest tournament on the Street Fighter circuit, and the top 16 certainly delivered. We had talent from all over the world. We're talking Norway, we're talking Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, and of course, Canada as well. We had ourselves a representative in the tournament.
And I'm going to start off with talking about Safe, because he was amazing in the first half of the top 16.
Oh, man.
Like you were there, man. Like, he was on fire. Like he took out his opponent from that was representing the U.S., and then he took out the last European and contestant. It was like he was just on a roll. Like, he really utilized Ken so well in his matches.
He did.
And he somehow fought his way to the opening round of the losers bracket in the top 8, where he sadly got defeated by Gachikun.
Yes, but
which was so unfortunate. And like, Safe was like he was really playing at his best in those initial matches, and then when he faced Gachikun, he just got one-way slaughtered. I am not joking. Like, it was just, ugh. It was hard to watch, honestly. And then after that, I was just watching Gachikun, hoping that someone would take him out in the losers bracket, and I was losing so much hope, because he was just murdering his way through the losers bracket. Meanwhile, you had the crazy rivalry of Chris Wong and Uma just wrecking their way through the winners brackets, and then you have Chris Wong getting knocked down to the losers finals by Uma in the winners finals, and then you have like NL and DCQ. Those guys got knocked down to the losers bracket in the semifinals, and they were on a tear for a little bit. NL actually went pretty far. He actually got to the semifinals of the losers bracket until Gachikun just decimated him.
Yeah.
And then it was only at the losers finals where Gachikun got he wasn't like totally wrecked. Like, it wasn't really one way. Like, it was very back and forth for the top 4. But Chris Wong did get his way back into the grand finals, where he did reset the bracket. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough. I think he just kind of sparred out at the very end there, and Uma got the win with his jury. But oh my gosh, for those last four contestants, like, Chris Wong was basically that unstoppable force, and everyone else was like the immovable objects, and only Uma was the only one that could actually stop him and his momentum. It was absolutely crazy. Like honestly, Chris Wong and Uma, those guys are freaking machines in how they fight.
Like, they're top tier talent, man.
Yeah, like, if you give them an opening, they will decimate you, and they just wrecked house all throughout the tournament. And it's only when they got to face each other in battle 2 times, first in the winners finals and then in the grand finals, that we got to see like a really meaty showdown from those two. But I gotta say, I can't help but feel like when I was watching the Street Fighter Six finals, I couldn't help feeling a bit of deja vu from the T8 finals because it actually it worked a lot the same, to be honest. Like you had a bunch, like you had the three guys in the winners brackets, they get knocked into losers brackets. The guy who faces has the winner of the winners finals has to then work his way back up to face him in the grand finals again, and then the guy who works his way back up from the loser bracket just loses.
Yep.
So I'm not joking. I thought like this was a pretty close like mirror to the T8 tournament.
I did notice that as well, and you know what? Just like with the global finals for T7 earlier on, just absolutely stacked with talent from bracket to bracket, group to group. I mean, man, could you have asked for a better iteration of Capcom Cup than the 10th edition of this tournament?
I know, like for sure. I think aside from starting to lab Ed, like as soon as we were able to get him on the YouTube channel, I think I might try to become a Rashid main now after seeing what he can do. Like because like Gotcha-kun just he was just a beast with all those sand cyclones. Like he played the range game so well with Rashid.
He was just flying through it all, no pun intended, but he was flying through the competition, man.
Yes, and he utilized his Rashid's level 2 super art masterfully. Like every chance he got, he was pulling out that twister and really using that to just choke his opponents in the corner.
Yeah. That's just that is next level competition right there, man. And on top of Gachikun, like
Uma,
yeah.
yeah, and then you got Uma with Jury. Like he was really going hard on like he was going ham on everyone with his mix ups. Like it was absolutely like you told me in the last episode that jury characters or jury players are the most unpredictable, and Uma is basically that to a T. Like honestly, it like given that his favorite outfit for jury is her in her like cat pajama onesie.
Yep.
Like I can't help but nickname him here Schrodinger's cat. Like that. Like I think like honestly like his unpredictability is just quantum levels of unpredictable.
You got that right.
And then of course you got Chris Wong, who he was just I'm not sure what I would call him, but he was just a beast with Luke. Like he teched so much. He was doing a lot of masterful perfect counters in his matches. Like honestly, watching him was like watching a painter paint a masterpiece. Like he like, and honestly, I do kind of mean that literally because like given how the drive impacts in Street Fighter 6 do kind of literally paint the screen with all the colors of the rainbow.
Yep.
Like I don't think that's too much of a hyperbole to say.
I don't think so either, but it's kind of weird that you mentioned that now because with all the drive moves, you know, utilizing that paint gimmick, I'm surprised we didn't see a single player in the top 16 using Kimberly, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you would think that. Well, who knows? Like I guess Kimberly wasn't up to standards as far as competitive play for those players.
Maybe not.
But obviously Luke was. Luke, oh my gosh! Like we had so many Luke players in the top 16, and then again we had at least 3 in the top 8.
Oh
like,
yeah,
he was just everywhere. Like you couldn't go 5 matches without seeing a Luke.
Yep, and I mentioned before, several episodes before that there were going to be a ton of Luke players and a ton of Ken players, if I remember correctly. Those two characters combined made up almost half the field going into this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and those numbers definitely followed them through at least a little bit into the top 16. I mean, Safe was the only Ken player there, but of course we had like 3 or 4 Luke players coming to this top 16.
Yep.
And it was just crazy to see. And yeah, but basically that's all I gotta say about the tournament, because like there's nothing much else I can say. Like if you really want to get if you guys listening at home want to get the real essence of how just mind-bogglingly awesome this tournament was for the first ever Capcom Cup that features SF6, just go and watch the replay yourselves. It's on the Street Fighter, or no, the Capcom Fighters YouTube right now. It's also on their Twitch. So definitely go and check it out. It is definitely a tournament for the ages to look at.
Damn right. So
with that, I think I'll move us on to some rapid fire headlines before we move into the news. Before you guys take over and go into our news stories.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, first off, for those of you who may have somehow been living under a rock and missed the most recent Nintendo Partner Direct, it has now been confirmed that of the four or five new entries into the Nintendo Online collection of classic games in the classic console emulators, for the SNES console emulator, we are officially going to be getting, or we already have gotten, the original Killer Instinct. And I know, Wolf, you were losing your goddamn mind when you first heard about that.
You're damn right I was. I mean, come on. Killer Instinct is an underrated franchise. That series does not get enough love, and I am so happy, so thrilled to know that the original KI is now part of the SNES collection. Let's go. That is a win for us, baby.
And I suppose that kind of makes up for the fact that when they switched the anniversary edition of KI recently, and they took out the original KI from that collection, I'm sure this kind of makes it up for a little bit for you.
Quite a bit, yes, because I didn't spend too much time on the classic KI, but the amount of time that I did spend on it, it was bonkers, dude. And I mean that in the best way possible. It was freaking amazing.
I think we're definitely gonna have to have a YouTube video dedicated to this, because like the fact that it's coming to the Switch, that's pretty big in terms of like just fighting game history right there.
It is. It's absolutely huge, man. Absolutely. And you know what? For that, I can't help it. I gotta say it. I know it's gonna sound terrible, so forgive me, but I gotta do it, man. I gotta do it. Ultra Combo! Let's go, baby.
Combo Breaker!
There we are. There it is.
Yeah. So that's the first Rapid Punch headline. If you guys want to check it out, definitely look it up in the SNES emulators on your Switches. Moving on, them's fighting herds. I don't know if we're just late on this news or whether it just happened and we just happened to catch it, but the final two DLC characters have officially dropped. We have a new dragon character as well as I don't know what this last character is. I think she's an aardvark. Possibly, maybe.
What?
I honestly don't. All I know is that she has a snout and she's got a chubby form. I don't know what she's about. All I know is that she's a stance character. But I have tried the new dragon character out a little bit. I've tried letting her a little bit in the practice mode for Them's Fighting Herds, and I think for those trying to get into competitive play who are really scared of the first dragon character, whose names I'm totally forgetting right now because they are all Chinese based. I suck at remembering those. But the first dragon character, who was a really big scary rushdown character that like half of the really competitive players used. I think this new dragon character, who is a lot more of a zoner but still very aerial and very just very all over the place, I think she'll be a good counter to that. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, so we'll see what happens when we maybe dive into some side tournaments sometime down the line with Them's Fighting Herds. But yeah, going forward, the devs have said that these are the last two characters. They've done a lot of the big patches. They will do a little more sport to the game, as far as just little tiny patches here and there going forward. But otherwise, the game is more or less complete. Although, to be honest, in my opinion, it'll never be complete because that story mode. They only ever did Chapter 1, and they never got around to getting back to it. I'm not sure if that's just a time constraint or resources constraint or what have you, but it's just a crying shame, and I hope that someday they can get the resources to come back and finish that, because I played through the first little bit of it, and it was they did the tutorials really well, and they're the first major boss you fight in that story mode was just very ingenious in how they implemented foreground and background. So yeah, I hope that game gets some more love down the line, or maybe they'll just continue the story in a sequel, which no, that would be awesome too. Anyway, so that's our Dropper Punch headlines. So we will be moving on. Wolf and Pharaoh, I know you guys have some opinions about this next topic, so I will hand it over to you with the new T8 microtransactions. So,
Yeah,
gentlemen?
this is going to be a doozy. Pharaoh, how about you kick us off here? Your thoughts on the Tekken shop being introduced in the most recent patch?
Boy, obviously it's a point of contention between a lot of fans of Tekken and all that. You know, it's already gained enough notoriety as it is to be infamous.
Got that right.
I really have only one fear about it, is that, well, you know, it's gonna be my only fear is it's gonna be the same as basically every other game that has an in-game store. You know.
Yeah,
So you're worried about so hang on. So you're worried about loot boxes? Is that what you're worried about? Or
no, not the Star Wars Battlefront incident.
Oh, okay, thank goodness.
That's something that's an entirely different thing.
Yeah. We'll never forgive EA for that one.
It's more of I don't really know. I don't have the words. I don't have the ability to put it to words. But it's like everything's all becoming the same. Like, we're not getting anything fresh. Like, if you're gonna make a store like fresh, new, or at least tell me if I'm gonna put money in, tell me how much it's actually gonna cost me instead of this currency garbage.
You know what? I certainly don't blame you for having that opinion. A lot of people have that same opinion as well. But you know what? I'm actually kind of hopeful for this, because from the information that I've gathered up in regards to this shop for Tekken 8, what's going to end up happening is that the game is going to be kept fresh, rather than making money off of individual items. That seems to be a bit of a dig at Mortal Kombat 1. But yeah, there's going to be a mix of paid items and free items as well, which will rotate once or twice per month. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. What I don't necessarily like about it, though, is the fact that they're introducing Tekken coins, which is essentially the premium in-game currency that functions the same way as fighter coins in Street Fighter 6. I feel like the addition of Tekken coins is unnecessary when you can easily get bucket loads of, fight money just by playing other game modes, and you can get those by the thousands, for crying out loud. You can get them by the thousands and even by the millions. I'm pretty sure you get at least 1 million, either that or a good 100,000, just by completing a character story in the game. So with all the different ways that you can obtain fight money throughout the game, it just really doesn't make sense to add in a premium in-game currency. It really doesn't.
yeah, I think like you have a good point there, Wolf. Like, sure, fighting game companies, like, they do have to keep supporting their fighting games in order to keep the communities alive, or at least help keep the communities alive. But doing that via like microtransactions on all these things, like, that's not really the way to go. Like, that's just going to turn people off a lot of the time. And, like, sure, it's a good thing that they're balancing the paid stuff with a lot of free stuff. I think that's a really good step forward in terms of, like, fighting game shops. But still, like, my opinion on it is like we're already paying like a $80 for this game. Why should we have to put in more to get just cosmetics? Like, sure, like at the very least, these game stores, they don't have any items that would like manipulate how the game is played, so it's not like a pay to win thing. I think that's good. Like they're still giving away with that for the most part. Like mobile games are the exception, but aside from that, like, it's all cosmetic stuff. But still, I don't get the point why they don't just like have a crap ton of items and then just like have them for cheap. Like, just go for quantity over quality as far as the shop, so that people don't have to spend too much on their favorite item, and they have like a lot more choice as far as what they get.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, if we were to just use the free in-game currency, the fight money, in the shop, at least that way it gives us an alternative because, you know, I know that everyone loves the customization in Tekken 8. Could be expanded on a little bit more, but like just the base options you have available are incredible. But, you know, some people might not like certain things, and, you know, we're not trying to force you to buy things that you don't want, but, you know, what if there's something that you really want to see and you want to get, but it's only available in the shop, right? Like from what I've heard, they're actually implementing legacy costumes into the shop. For example, we're going to end up getting Jin's classic tracksuit look from Tekken 4, which, by the way, underrated outfit. The game was trash, but that outfit is freaking legendary, mind you. But yeah, like, I feel like if you were able to use the fight money in the shop as a good alternative to the general customization options, I feel like we would be, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but I would say, in my opinion, I would probably be better off with that.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, we will keep you guys updated on the T8 microtransaction situation as it occurs. Pharaoh, I knew you were gonna try. I know you were gonna try to give it like 2 months before you thought it got worse, and then Wolf, you said 6 months. So
yep.
We'll see what happens there. And if you guys want to put money on that, I would not mind watching that. Honestly.
No, I'm not doing that. I already have enough bills as it is.
Yeah, no, man.
I guess you do gotta pay tuition, so we can't be sucking any more money out of you than you're already losing. Okay.
No.
Well, in that case, we will leave you guys with those initial thoughts, and we'll come back to this as things go. Moving on, Wolf, I believe you have some. Speaking of MK1, I believe you have some more other news to talk about in terms of MK1 with a long-awaited character.
Yes, that's correct. At the time of this recording, Peacemaker is not out yet, but by the time this episode goes up, he will be out and available for early access. Peacemaker officially drops tomorrow in Mortal Kombat 1 for those who pre-ordered the game and have gained early access. In addition, if you want to be able to play as Peacemaker, you can go ahead, purchase the combat pack. By doing so, you also gain early access. And if I remember correctly, this weekend coming up, there will be a Trial Tower weekend for Peacemaker before he launches worldwide for all players next Wednesday. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. And you know what? It's going to be really interesting, man. I mean, we've got John Cena in a fighting game that is not related to WWE. Like, how cool is that?
The shock.
It's freaking amazing. And you know what? I did also find there was a quick little snippet that I found from NetherRealm Studios in regards to Peacemaker joining the fray. He did the thing. He did the "you can't see me" that John Cena is so well known for. He actually did it. Let's go, man.
Let's go.
Let's
freaking go.
That's awesome. So now that means NetherRealm Studios is 2 for 2 when it comes to their guest characters making references to their respective franchises. Like, remember all the different references Omni-Man was making? Dude.
Right.
Absolutely incredible. So yes, Peacemaker coming out on the 27th, which at the time of recording will be tomorrow for early access. There will likely be a tower trial going on this coming weekend, and then Peacemaker releases worldwide for all players on March 6th. So,
and Wolf, I assume you already have him pre-ordered at the very least.
Oh, absolutely. And on top of that, a couple weeks afterwards, we'll be getting another cameo character, which this one has divided the fan base. So,
Of course.
For those who don't know, originally we were supposed to be getting a cameo version of Johnny Cage, but this was later changed, so now instead of Johnny Cage, we're getting a female variant by the name of Janet Cage, which, by the way, we did get a glimpse of her during Chapter 15 of the story mode, where you're making your way up the Pyramid of Argus towards the top, where you face Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. So, we already got a good look at her in Peacemaker's gameplay trailer. She plays a lot like Johnny Cage, so there's not really that much of a difference, gameplay-wise. But we do get the classic uppercut fatality from the very first Mortal Kombat as the respective fatality for Janet Cage. So be sure to look out for that. Peacemaker and Janet Cage coming out this March. Boy, it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, well, I'm actually curious, just before we move on to our next topic, as far, like, from what you've seen of Peacemaker so far, how, do you think he's going to be a new favorite? Do you think he's just an okay character? Like, from what you've seen of his gameplay, how do you think he'll play, and do you think he'll be any good?
Honestly, I do think he'll be pretty good. I do think he's probably going to be a fan favorite, just like with Omni-Man. And as far as the way that he plays, he's like the perfect mix-up character. There's just so many different tools that you can utilize. And, I mean, this guy is going to be someone you don't want to be sleeping on. He's going to be an underdog pick for sure. And, oh, man, I can't even. I'm already running out of words here.
So could you say, like, he might be the Rashid of MK1?
Quite possibly, yes. I think that's the best way I could put it.
Nice. So yeah, guys, look out for Peacemaker and the new Cage coming out very soon. Moving on, Wolf, talk to us. You apparently have new stuff for us on Project L. I know you guys haven't heard that name for a while, but we are coming back with some new updates finally.
Yep, that's right. It was only a few days ago, actually. About half a week ago. At this point, we now have an official name for Project L. It is now known as 2XKO, which I believe, if this is correct, translates to double knockout. So, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to tie into the gameplay itself. But we do have an official name now.
I thought that this being a League of Legends spin-off game would incorporate League of Legends somewhere in the title, but yeah, the fact that it's just going off like that, like it's not even like some of the other spin-off games that have been like RPGs and adventure games. Where you have a League of Legends story. Like it's just like a title that has no reference at all to League.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And there's quite a bit of information that we got from an official article posted by Riot Games themselves on their website, as well as on their social media handles. They are going to be very busy with this game throughout the year. They will be hosting playable demos all over the world at select events. And yes, that does include EVO Japan in just a couple of months. So
nice.
Already
and
we're getting
to drop they happen to drop a full release date by chance.
Not quite. We know it's confirmed to launch in 2025, but we don't know if it's going to be early 2025, mid 2025, late 2025. We don't know, but all we know is that it will be releasing next year. It's going to be available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and will be available on Steam as well. Whether or not it's going to be exclusive to just one PC platform or not is still to be confirmed, but there is more to it than just the playable demos this year. The social media channels are already up and live. Just search up @Play2XKO. You can find them on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. They are everywhere. The channels are live. And here's the best part. Riot Games is also hoping to begin at-home playtest. So yes, for those who are curious, yes, that means you will be able to actually test this game right from the comfort of your own home. How exciting is that?
Very exciting. Like, we were definitely going to need to try to get our hands on this early build and play on the channel.
It's going to be absolutely incredible. And if you guys go to the article posted on Riot Games' website, there is a link within the article to actually go and sign up for the playtesting. So, by doing so, that means Riot will send you email notifications in regards to when the playtesting dates are, once they're confirmed. And yeah, you'll be able to go right from there. So, I've already signed up. I've got it set so that I'll be able to test it out on the PlayStation 5. This is going to be freaking amazing. Such a load of information from just a few days ago, and I gotta tell you, the League of Legends fandom right now is probably going nuts and have been going nuts over the past few days about this.
Indeed, we'll keep an eye on that, and we will definitely try to record some videos on the playtesting dates, and we'll try to get you guys some footage so you can see what's coming up.
For sure, for sure. So with that, I believe that's probably going to wrap up our news segment there. And now we transition into the indie spotlights. This is going to be very interesting. I don't know if anyone has heard of this game or not, but this looks fantastic. It is a game called Rounds. And from the
I'm pretty sure people have heard of this, Wolf. Like, I know that the guys over at the Stumped YouTube channel, I don't know that they played it at some point. I know the Cartoons, who I follow on YouTube, I know he's played with his friends. So it's somewhat well known, I believe.
Yeah, that's fair, but still, I mean, it's a relatively obscure title. That's just, a few people, who knows how many others actually know about this game. But from the description on Steam itself, it is a 1v1 roguelite shooter where each round gets more intense. And here's the crazy thing about it. This plays similar to Stick Fight the game, actually.
Very nearly so, yeah. Like, it seems like they just took Stick Fighter and add a whole bunch of new guns to pick up, and they just put more quote-unquote rounds into it, and just put a few more random elements to it. Like, granted, for those of you listening, yes, this might be stepping just a little bit outside of fighting game territory, but I think it's still enough of a platform fighter to be considered a fighting game.
I agree. And here's the cool thing. Unfortunately, okay, here's the not so cool thing. Unfortunately, it is only for Windows, unfortunately. But here's the cool thing. It did release just a few years ago, released on April 1st, and there's been over 20,000 reviews on Steam, and they're overwhelmingly positive.
All right.
So it's very clear that a lot of people are actually enjoying this game.
Right, so that could lead to maybe a console release at some point.
Maybe so. I mean, at the very least, I could definitely see a Switch port being made for this.
Yeah, like the simple graphics, like this would be perfect for Switch.
Yeah, and like not only that, but it probably won't take up too much in regards to the hardware limitations and whatnot. So it'll be perfect. And actually, it's already supported on Steam, on the Steam Deck, so that's really freaking awesome. And
okay, that's promising then.
Yep. And another really good thing about it is that it's actually on sale right now on Steam. You can get it for 60% off, but at the time of this recording, there is a day and a half left to go in the sale. So I know that's probably going to be irrelevant once this goes up, but even if you miss out on the sale, it's actually still not too bad. Like, this game goes for under $10 basically.
So as far as gameplay goes, Wolf, like I mean, you know the most about this game out of the two of us. So like, what kind of guns can people see in rounds when they go to play it? And like, what kind of roguelike elements do they actually incorporate?
Oh boy. Honestly, I don't know about the elements, but I'll tell you this. There are more guns that I could possibly count in this. There's way more. Shotguns, rocket launchers, guns that shoot heat-seeking missiles. Like, this game is just all over the place. And listen to this. There's more than 50 unique power-ups, more than 50 different maps, and there is well over 1 million different power-up combinations in this game.
Ooh, okay, that clinches it. It's like, if and when this gets a console release, we are getting this and we are playing this.
This just sounds like a heck of a time. I definitely know for a fact that I would enjoy this as much as Stick Fight, perhaps even more than Stick Fight. So yeah, that is our indie spotlight for this week. It is Rounds from Landfall Games. Be sure to go get it if you haven't already picked it up. Trust me, you are going to have an absolute blast playing this.
And with that, we move on to our discussion topic, which we know we didn't get to last time because of time constraints. But
Yep.
We hope you guys will enjoy us in our discussions about the future, the very positive outlook on the future of platform fighters in the coming years that we seem to be seeing on a lot of the socials.
Yes, it has been a crazy bunch of years with the rise of platform fighters. We're talking games like Brawlhalla, Rivals of Aether, and Multiverses, among others. Those are the front runners when talking about platform fighters, but there are many more beyond those that are starting to get recognized. And you know what? It's a really cool thing that platform fighters are getting a lot more attention now, because yes, we've got Smash Bros, but it's like, what if some people get tired from playing Smash Bros and want to discover other platform fighters?
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other platform fighters coming out, like there's even still in development. Like Sentinel Zinc is one that I've been looking at recently, and it looks, and like, sure, it's only got 4 characters right now, but it's definitely got a interesting story behind its development, and it's looking like a really interesting. Like I think this is the first time I've seen a game in this kind of subgenre, but it's a platform fighter that's also a tag team fighter.
Oh, a tag team platform fighter.
So,
I love the
so
sound
Wolf,
of that.
I know being a Tekken tag team fan, I know you'll be right at home if and when this game releases.
Oh, hell
and then,
yeah.
Of course, we can't forget that Rivals 2 is on the way.
Yep.
We also got Combo Devils, which is going to be a very interesting one. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with their Subspace Emissary style single player and co-op campaign. Like, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, there's just so much out in as far as the indie scene, as far as like platform fighters, and of course, like, you got like the AAA stuff that's trying to take over Smash's reign with Nickelodeon All Stars 2 and Multiverses. So it's definitely going to be interesting, and the fact that we may very well get a new Smash game when the Switch 2 drops at the end of this year,
maybe.
or beginning of next year, but like, even if that does happen, like, there's no way they can beat Smash Ultimate as far as like how awesome it was. So it's gonna be interesting to see how zany and crazy like the indie platformers get, who try to not really. I think we've gotten out of the stage of everyone trying to beat Smash, like being like trying to make their game a Smash killer.
Yeah.
And we've kind of gotten into a new renaissance of platforming games where, like, all these indie developers, like, they're really trying different things, and they're trying to see what new elements they can bring to the platform fighters. And like, sure, you'll still have like those Smash clones. Like, I mean, Frame Makers is still a thing that's going to come out eventually.
Yep.
It's like basically it's trying to be like the indie equivalent of Smash Bros. But then you got other stuff like Indie Pogo, which, and sure, it has like a whole pedigree of other like guest characters in there, but you know, it's like it tried to do something new. You also got that slap fight arena thing.
There you go.
That came out like a few years ago. Like, there's just so many cool new ideas coming out in the platform scene as far as indie games go. So I think this is just a great time to be an indie developer who's trying to do a platform fighter game.
For sure. And you know what? I think that if all goes well, it's quite possible that indie platform fighters could become the new norm. It could actually take over the gaming world by force and could even end up being direct competitors with other popular AAA fighters.
Definitely, like I do, we've seen that in the 2D fighting, like in the anime fighter scene with Unrated in Birth and its recent sequel, that was like the first game like indie anime fighter that really got into competing with the AAA titles for the spotlight. So I think if a 2D fighter can do it, then I think a platform fighter from the indie scene, I definitely think we can get a whole lot of other contenders from the indie scene as far as platform fighters. I definitely think it's possible. I mean, look at Rebels of Aether. Like the first game alone got so much hype at before and after release, and people still praise that to this day. And now we have a bigger and better 2.5D fighter coming out of that series as a sequel.
Yep, it's going to be crazy once that game comes out, man. Like you said, there was a lot of hype surrounding the first game. The first game definitely lived up to it. There's just as much hype around the second one. And history, I hope, is going to repeat itself. I think that Rivals 2 will definitely live up to the hype. And, I mean, who knows? Platform fighters could very well be the new main avenue sometime in the future. Who knows?
I mean, definitely for indie developers, because for the longest time we've had the roguelikes and the Metroidvanias be the dominant scene as far as what indie developers go towards as when they try to develop a game. But I think now we're starting to see right now it's subtle, but it could turn into a major shift to platform fighters.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but in short, the future is bright for platform fighters, and there's no better time for the platform fighter renaissance era to begin than right now, man.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this goes forward, and of course we will keep you guys up to date on these new platform fighters as they come out on the indie scene and on the AAA scene, assuming anyone gets some new ideas and starts making new crossovers like this. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I gotta say, if there was one crossover that I think we need to see come back as a platform fighter, it's PlayStation's All Stars game that had some interesting new ideas, but just did not execute that at all well. And I think if Sony tried to bring that back now, I think they might have a shot at overtaking at least matching Smash.
Oh, definitely. And on top of that, the PlayStation catalog for its AAA titles has expanded greatly since the release of that game. So, I mean, just imagine all the newcomers that you could see coming into a game like that.
Yeah, All Stars Battle Royale could if they ever decide to revive it, this would be the best time to do so.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing. And you know what? If they ever do go ahead with either with a sequel or at least a remaster of the game, please, 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 for the love of all that is good, switch out Dante, for God's sake. We don't need the black-haired emo teen Dante from DMC Devil May Cry. We want the iconic
and
white-haired Dante.
Yeah, and more importantly, make it so that supers are the only things that damage, because that was just a stupid mechanic. And I think if you did something else quirky, I think it would work a lot better.
Oh yeah, for sure. That they need to tighten that one up for sure, but you know what? Hopefully it's in the cards one day.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyway, we're running a little low on time here, I think, so we're going to switch things up. Pharaoh, he's been busy with exams lately, so he will not be giving us a dream roster this week. Hopefully next week. But Wolf, you and I think you had an interesting topic for your dream roster this week.
I did, yes.
Tell us more.
Yeah, this one is going to be really, really weird, but automobile manufacturers. So basically, Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota, Dodge, Mitsubishi, Ferrari, Fiat, Aston Martin, whatever it is, you name it. it'll probably be there. I'm not exactly sure how it would play, but I just think it would be really freaking goofy to have a fighting game based off of, actual vehicles that exist.
So, like, I know you said you don't know how this would really play, but like, who would the fighters be? Like, would they just be cars, like in that one Daytona cameo in that one other fighting game, which I keep forgetting which one that was that did the Daytona car, but it could be like that where it's just the car standing up on two wheels. Like, is that kind of your idea for this game?
Yeah, I guess it could work like that. Initially, I was trying to go for like maybe more of a Transformers feel, but when you and I discussed that when we were planning out this episode, it basically just sounded like, instead of doing car manufacturers, why not just do a Transformers fighting game? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it would pretty much play similar to what you just mentioned there. I guess there could be like different power-ups that I honestly I don't even know. This just came into my head
like,
at a random time.
If you want to give like more personality besides just cars, like you could also do maybe the fighters could be the founders of those different companies.
Actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. That's actually not too bad. That would give it a little bit more substance and at the very least make it a little more interesting. So
yeah, and
yeah.
have their supers like be connected to their history, like the story behind how they found things. So, granted, I'm not the biggest car guy, so I don't really know the history of how these companies came about. But like every one of them has an interesting story to tell, and I'm betting you there's at least like 2 or 3 stories in each one that you could put as super moves.
Yep, I could agree on that for sure. And trust me, I'm not a huge car guy either, but yeah, I think this is of all the ideas that I've presented thus far, I feel like this is definitely probably the most out there kind of idea.
Yeah. Although, one thing though, I definitely think in at least one stage, or maybe as like a guest announcer for the game, you would definitely need to have the Michelin Tire Man in there somewhere.
You know what? Yeah, he's gonna be in there, absolutely. And you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if, this were to actually be a thing and maybe he's put in there as like a boss character or something. Or maybe like
Ooh,
a
that would
secret
actually
fight.
be really good.
Yeah. Like that there's just so much that you could do with this. It's wacky, but there are lots of options, lots of different things that you could do with this. But yeah, all in all, that's pretty much my idea. A fighting game based on automobile manufacturers. That's what I'm going with this week.
Cool.
And then as far as yours goes, you chose a very iconic franchise for this one. Care to elaborate?
Yes, but mine kind of comes out of left field a little bit because this is an FPS franchise, which I think it does fit the fighting like the 2D or at least the 3D fighter arena formula kind of well given its setting.
Yep.
But yeah, I was thinking for my dream roster, I would love to see Microsoft do a Halo fighting game, like the Halo FPS franchise.
Okay.
I mean, like, on the surface, it doesn't seem like you could do a lot with this because it's mostly just a lot of guns and shooting and like crazy lasers and such. But I think there's enough like close range stuff, like you have your little sidearms, you have your laser swords, and like Spartans and the elites, they can go to town with just their fists, like with the hand to hand. So I think there's definitely enough here, and I definitely think there's enough characters in the Halo lore to make a decent roster. Like I can see Master Chief and all of his silver team. Like Paramount Plus just started coming out with their second season of Halo of their Halo show, and that's expanding the lore of Halo for a lot of fans, myself included, quite a bit. So like I think there's definitely a lot of characters you could draw from this. Like I think you could probably fit Dr. Halsey in somewhere. I think Cortana might be able to be her own character, or at least a summon assist for Chief. You of course you would have to have the Arbiter in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so there's just like I can also see like a couple of the famous generals in there. I know you would also want to have the orbital drop shock troopers, or ODST as they're referred to. Like, I mean, they made a whole side game off of that, off of those guys. So I think there's definitely enough characters in that to also kind of be DLC if they want to. But yeah, like I think that Halo, and I think it would work a lot, like really good as like an arena fire, like sort of like kind of a mix between Tekken 8 and Naruto Ninja Storm. Like, it would be a bit faster than the Tekken franchise. Like, you'd be able to move you'd have like a bit more freedom to move around the stage since there's going to be a decent amount of gunplay. But like the main meat of the game is going to be wanting you to be like in mid to close range to fight. And I think like the whole T8 setup of always facing your opponent in a decently small arena, I think that's going to be the way I envision this. And of course, like you would have to like really pay homage to Halo multiplayer and just have weapons strewn across the floor and on different surfaces and just have that be like the whole gimmick of the game is just to be just like fight. And if you happen to come across something, like just pick it up and just start going to town. Like you have a decent number of melee weapons in Halo too, because like you got the energy swords, you got those gravity hammers. Like there's just so much you can play with Halo as far as a fighting game. So yeah, that's my dream roster for this week.
Yeah, all together, I could definitely see this working pretty well if it were ever to become a thing. And I mean, just that part about adding in the weapons, that's just the icing on the cake, because you can't really have Halo without all those weapons, right? So
yeah, I see the bigger weapons like the like that. I used to be so rep on the names of all the weapons, but now I'm just blanking on them. But that one like bazooka type weapon that just is a giant laser. The Spartan laser. That's what it's called. I just imagine being that like those kind of weapons being reserved as like super moves.
yeah, I could definitely see that. Mind you, I don't know a whole lot about Halo, but you know what? To be completely honest with you, this would be a game I would definitely pick up.
Yeah, and I know you would be especially really into this because like Halo, like I Halo games gave a lot of customization to like their online players. So I can definitely see this game having a lot of customization too, as in terms of like armor and like just coloring and all like just little decals they can put on them. I can see you going crazy for this game.
Yep, you know me very well, so absolutely I would go to town on that. But yeah, that sounds freaking amazing. I would definitely buy that if that were ever to become a thing.
Indeed.
So with all of that said, that's gonna bring us. That's pretty much gonna bring us to the end of this episode.
Of course. All of us here at Canine Calamity are really happy to have all you guys watching us on Podbean and everything. So I'm Pharaoh.
I'm Tomorrow.
I'm Wolfpack.
And as we all say on this little podcast of ours, fight on, everybody.
Fight on, baby.
Just be safe. It's still cold out there. So yes. But
this
of course,
is true.
We'll be happy to see you guys here. We'll be happy to have you listen to us again all next week. See you then.
Yep. Have a good one, everybody.
See you guys.